Okay, so let's do something a little bit different for once, a classic unboxing. Even though I maybe shouldn't call it classic since I usually don't do unboxings on my channel, especially not for devices that are already on the market for a while or that I've even actually already reviewed, which was the case on the OnePlus 5T. But this is not a regular 5T because this is, as you can see here, the Sandstone white version, so definitely already quite something unique. And it's also quite something unique that I got a device before the official launch. And I also want to take actually the chance now to get to a little bit of a throwback with the original OnePlus One. Also in comparison, since this was the pretty much very first phone with this Sandstone finish. So we will compare that and let's talk a little bit of a few other things. But what I'm not gonna actually do is fake an unboxing, because I had to choose between English and German to make the unboxing, and I did already the original one for the German version, since I got it from OnePlus One Germany. So I've already opened it and now I already have a few first impressions. So as you can see here, you get the same stuff as you get on the normal one. You get the dash charger, you get the cable, that's pretty much it. And you get a case, which I was surprised of how good it actually is, but I'll get into that a little bit later. So let's take a look at it. This is the brand new OnePlus 5T Sandstone White. Now, for everyone who saw my review of the OnePlus 5T knows that I wasn't a big fan of that finish. And I already teased that. I am super happy. That's the reason why. Because this just feels so much better. It feels completely different though, and maybe in the German version, if you watch it, you will see of how baffled I am, because I did not expect it to feel anything like this. I expected it to feel like this, just be white, but it's not even close to the same, because as you can see here, there is still a visible texture on the OnePlus One. But here, it feels more like a matte satin finish or matte finish for a plastic device. Of course, it's metal still, because it still feels super nice and solid, and nothing has changed of that really great high quality build. So I still like that a lot, but it just doesn't feel what I expected it to feel. Now, compared to the black one, it's a huge step forward, because I just found that it was way too kind of potato-like in terms of a skin in and feel, and it was just way too slippery. This, since I've already used it for a few minutes in the German version, I can tell you is way more grippy. Super grippy sides, and of course I have to see over the next few days of how the back will turn out. So far I have to say, usually on metal phones with a normal metal finish, if I have very cold hands, pretty much every phone is slippery. With warm hands it's better. Now, I have quite high hopes that due to this finish, also quite being different towards this, it could be grippy with cold and maybe warm hands, which would be a huge deal for me. Because I have to say, and I said that already back in the days about the OnePlus One, I never found this texture to be actually all that grippy. For me, it never really was. It was good, but not really grippy. Of course, this one looks quite scuffed up, so if you quickly take a look at the OnePlus One, and I have to say though, I used it maybe like 3 or 4 months, and then I gave it to my brother, which he used like at least for like until a year ago, so quite a long time. That's why it's quite scuffed up. But this will be also something very interesting, and I'm not quite sure if I will be able to tell that, because I don't think I will be able to keep this, which would be super nice though, and then be able to tell you how long this will look like this. Because what I ask myself is, how long will it look this white? Even though, as I have to say, it's not a clean white. Maybe on the camera now it looks like that, but it has some little bit of kind of beige on it, a really small tint. Now, one thing that I was quite surprised in my German version is of the accents, because as you can see, even the SIM card tray looks just like on the normal one, so black with the buttons and also this. But now, as you can see, we have the alert slide in red. Definitely a nice accent. I would have actually wished for all the buttons to be red. That would have been something special. But it's a nice accent from white to black. I definitely like that. What else is there to say? Also, the fingerprint reader is white, which definitely makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what else to say. Let's actually quickly compare them, just so you get a feel of what changed over the last few versions. So as you can see, let's actually put it this way. The OnePlus 5T definitely is noticeably taller, but it's actually almost just about as white. So not a huge difference here, but it feels noticeably thinner, because the angle just makes quite a difference. And I have to say, the old one, that is something super surprising, because the last time I used it, still, even to this day, is actually a killer performer in terms of battery life, but also just smoothness and performance. So it was kinda ahead of its time, and that's why I totally get why it was such a popular phone. Now let's compare it to a few other phones, like for example my previous daily driver, the Xiaomi Mi 6. Of course, since it just has a 5.15-inch display, it's noticeably shorter and it's definitely narrower, but actually a little bit thicker. But that's not a real direct competitor, so let's check my current daily driver, the Xiaomi Mi 3, the Mi Note 3. As you can see, also shorter and also actually, yeah, significantly, I would say, narrower. 5.5-inch screen display, but it feels thicker. I have to say though, great in and feel, great weight distribution, and I still like that a lot. And these two are pretty much the only two phones, and I said that already back then on the OnePlus 5, that I would consider using as my daily driver. Because usually I prefer smaller phones, that's why I had the Xiaomi Mi 6. But these feel so thin and still narrow and easy to manage in one hand that I'm gonna say yes, I like a little bit more screen real estate, and therefore I'm okay with a little bit more size in the hand. Now this though is the real competition. This usually around 500, I guess. I'm not quite sure about the actual price, but you'll see that soon enough because press releases will be there. This is, by the way, the 128GB version, which of course is a little bit more expensive. Now this is the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2. Also a 6-inch display, also 2x1. Both kind of the same. I mean, just in terms of size. But if we compare them, you will see, yes, the OnePlus 5 is taller. But here is the thing. Maybe it doesn't look that much like it, but it's still, in terms of in and feel, noticeably more narrow. As you can see, it's not a huge difference if you just look at it in terms of size. But the OnePlus 5T is noticeably thinner, at least with the bigger tempered edge. And that's why I would have really wished for this not to have kind of a symmetrical curve. I would have wished for this also to have kind of more something like this, because the main reason why the Mi Mix didn't really get the title as my possible daily driver is because it is a little bit too wide for my personal taste. Because I would have been fine with 6 inches 2x1 if it would have been a little bit narrow. And that's why I actually prefer, as you can see here in a direct comparison, the noticeably narrower Xiaomi Mi Note 3. That just works better for me. And I would say, even though as you have seen, the difference in terms of width is quite big in terms of the Mi Note 3, but since this feels thinner and now it's actually super grippy, this is a difference. So both quite similar price, quite similar specs in every regard. Yeah, I have to say, this, even though it feels super premium and everything else, I guess I would prefer this. Of course, yeah, a lot of different factors, and I will just make also a video about the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2 again, along with the Note 3 and the Xiaomi Mi Mix. I had a Mi 6, but let's get back to actually this one. I also want to just mention one thing. It has still the screen protector that also the 5 and also the previous versions had, which I will take off, because it is a really nice screen protector, but I just don't like if I swipe from the side that I feel, as you can see here, it even takes a little bit off of my finger, my skin. I just don't like this feel, even though otherwise it's nice and protected. Now let's actually get to the surprisingly good case. Now, why is it surprisingly good? First of all, it's super tight, which you would expect from a first-party case. Also plays enough for the fingerprint reader, but it actually doesn't make the phone feel a lot wider. And one thing that it actually comes with a benefit of, now since we have a slightly raised lip, if you can maybe see that. It's a little bit hard to show, yeah. The camera doesn't really properly pick that up. I actually don't, if I swipe now, feel the screen protector anymore. Also, buttons are all covered, which is definitely nice. And one thing is actually quite smart that I didn't expect, because they're raised. If you can see, there's all these four corners a little bit, and therefore the lip on the sides actually doesn't go so much over the display. Because I usually don't like it if I swipe towards the sides so and feel the lip going off and all the time. So this is quite flat. It's definitely not 100% one, so it's still, even that would give a little bit protection of the display. But since all four corners are raised, you can just put it there and it will never lie on the display, which is some extra protection. And then it definitely adds some great protection. I have to say, it's a very grippy TPU case. Super silicon, I'm not quite sure what it is, but yeah. So I'm usually not someone who ever uses cases, and usually people always have to buy them, but this is a case that I don't see any reason why I should buy something else. This I could use, even though I don't like cases. I would like it because it doesn't really change the look of the phone. It still looks nice and wide. and it's super grippy, buttons are, and it just fits well, and it protects. So here you are out of the box completely already satisfied. Now just a little bit about the texture finish again. I'm not quite sure how it looks actually on the video yet, but it's not perfect, kind of clear white. It has a little bit of some ever so slight beige, but it's minimal. I'm interested to see though, and that's why I will make a revisited review of this device. Not just because to see if the camera is maybe improved with the newer updates, because I wasn't the biggest fan of this camera actually, even though so many praised it. But I want to see if that has improved, but also how long this will look as flawless as now, and how long it will look white, especially if I use it, for example, in black jeans or blue jeans and such. If this will keep up. But just as of first impressions, and I know for an unboxing this was way too long, yeah. Let's say first surprise that it doesn't feel anything like the original Sandstone finish. It's a way more fine texture. This was more like sandpaper, where this just feels more like matte, which definitely has something going for it. It feels a little bit more like plastic because of that. This was just something completely different, but you don't quite feel the solidity of the metal. You can definitely hear it now, but because it has some extra layer on it. But the second thing, nice and grippy, good in-hand feel. So I'll let you know more in a week or two. If you have any further questions, maybe in particular about the Sandstone white finish, you can leave me that and I will answer it in the review, or maybe just about the phone in general, or if things have maybe changed my overall perspective on the 5T. Let me know that in the comments. That otherwise would have been it. Until next time, bye.